Yeah, guys. Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
So yesterday we were working on this part, right? So here we have added all these options. Checkbox options we're working here. So now what I wanted is that whenever this component mounts, we wanted to send one request to a server. And for that, we have implemented one service that is your product service. And in the service, we are sending the request to a server. We are getting the data. We are consoling that data. And if I just go to inspect, we got that data here. Now what we have to do, this data we have to add in the Redux. This data we have to add in the Redux. So anybody completed this part?
Yes, sir.
So what I have to do now from here?
Um, First, I have created the product action creator.
Hmm. So here I have to create one action creator. So let me just create one product action creator .js. So
Uh,
creating
Inside, we define one function.
action creator to define one function. So here we have defined one function. And this function should return what?
Uh, Two parameter, return type and the payload. Type
We
of
we should
product
say it
and
should
payload.
return one action object. Okay.
Mm.
In that action object, you should have type attribute whose value should be some unique string like products, for example. And we can use another property with whatever key you want. Okay. So we don't have any restriction like we have to use payload only. You can use whatever you want. So in this payload, I want to send the data. And this data should come from this particular action creator. Now we can export default your product action creator. Here I will have products action creator. Now what we have to do, we have
Now,
to
after that,
import
we
that.
have to modify the reducer function.
First we have to import products action creator. And this products action creator we should import here. Yeah, because we are going to get the data here, right?
Yes.
So can we call here products action creator? Can we call here?
I think no, this is a JavaScript function and that one is a React hook.
Hmm. See, here we can call product action creator. There is no doubt in that. Okay. But this product, if you call this product action creator, what it is going to return? If you call it, what it is going to return? If you call product action creator, what it returns? It returns action object, right? So
Correct, sir.
that action object we can hold in one variable where action object, I will say product action object, products action object. It's a product section. Now this product section we have to pass to whom? We have to pass to dispatch. We have to pass to dispatch. But here we don't have any dispatch function. We don't have any dispatch function. So what we can do, we can go to our component. Now here we can import use dispatch hook from React Redux. We can call that dispatch function using this use dispatch. So we can get this dispatch function using use dispatch. And what we can do, this dispatch, we can give to this get all products as a first argument. Now get all products. Here it will receive the dispatch function. Now that dispatch function I can call here. And to this dispatch, I can pass products action. So like this, I can do in 2 lines of code. So right now I will remove this console. I can do like this in 2 lines of code, or else what I can do is simply directly I can call my dispatch, and to this dispatch I can pass product action creator. And here we have a data, right? That data we can pass here, response.data we can give to the product action creator. Now what dispatch will do? It will call your reducer. So I told try to maintain separate reducer for your products. So here we have to create one reducer now. So here I will create products reducer dot JS. So what is reducer? Reducer is a function which takes two parameters, your current state of products and action object. And it always returns new state, returns new state. Now you have to export this reducer, products reducer from your file. Now this reducer also you have to register with your store. So how to register multiple reducers with our store? Now let me come back here. Let me import products reducer. Now we have here two reducers. Login reducer, products reducer. Login reducers we registered here. But we want to register products reducer also. So what Redux says, if you have more than one reducer, then combine both the reducer. Combine both the reducers. How to combine both the reducers? For that, Redux is giving us one predefined function called combine reducers. So you have to import a function called combine reducers. Now we have to combine the reducer. How to combine the reducer? Call that function. After calling combine reducer function, this function will take one argument, that is one object. So pass one object. And inside this object, we have to pass our reducers as a properties. So directly you can pass your reducer name, login reducer, comma, products reducer. Now what this combined reducer will do, it will combine this both the reducer, and it will return one combined reducer which contains both login and product reducer. It returns one combined reducer. Combined reducer. Now this combined reducer we have to register with our store. The moment you register multiple reducers here, okay, it should be combined reducer. The moment you register multiple reducer with your store, then the structure of your Redux store will change. So whenever you are registering multiple reducers, then in your Redux, one object will be stored. In that object, two properties will be created with your reducer name. Like in our case, we have login reducer and we have one more, that is products reducer. Like these two properties will be created inside your Redux. And for both the properties, initial value will be assigned. So for login reducer, what is the initial value we have assigned? That is this object. So this object will be assigned. So let me reduce this font size. Like this, it will be assigned. And for this product reducer also, we want to assign some initial data. So if I just go to this product reducer, here we can create one initial data. Const, let's assume that product initial data equals to, I want to maintain one object only. Here, I want to maintain data and initially empty array. I want to keep empty array. And to this state, I want to pass that products initial data. So this is the initial data which we have to maintain. So this data will be assigned to this property here. This is how your Redux will be now. So this is how your Redux going to look like now. So you have one object, in that two properties will be stored. The first property is related to first reducer and second property is related to second reducer. Like this, if you register one more reducer, that will be added as a third property. If you register one more reducer, it will be added as a fourth property. And we have to create as much as less reducers that much possible. As much as possible, you have to create less reducers. But here, just to show you the example that how we can have multiple reducers, that's why I'm taking two different reducers, or else we can manage in one reducer also. Now this is how the store data will change. Now see, suddenly your store structure got changed. The moment store structure got changed, now wherever you are using that login data, there also structure is going to change now. Now if I go back here, things will not work properly. So if I click on sign in, see, it's not working now. Why? Because the structure of your Redux got changed. So now where we are accessing the login details, tell me where we are accessing the login property, in which components we are accessing.
Pages.
In pages, you have login.jsx. So here are we accessing login. So the moment you click on this, you are calling login function. Dispatch login action creator. Here you are not accessing. Where you are accessing? In app.jsx. Yes, here we are accessing login. Now this code will not work because right now your store data, in your store data, you have one object like this. This is the object you have. This is the object you have. In that you have two properties, login reducer, products reducer. So we want this true. So if you want this true, what you have to do is, here simply you have to say store data. Store data means it is going to indicate this object. Now store data dot login reducer, you have to say dot login reducer dot is logged in. You have to say is logged in. So store data dot login reducer dot is logged in. Then you will get this true value. You will get this true value. So same thing we have to do at one more place. What is that one more place? In the nav bar, right? So if I go to component nav bar, here also somewhere we are accessing. Here we are not accessing any nav bar. That's it. I think at one place only we are accessing. Maybe in routing, let's check. Yes, here also. In the routing also we are accessing. So we have to replace this code. We have to replace this code. Now let's see things will work or not. Now see it's working. Now if I click on logout, it's logged out. If I click on sign in, it's sign in. So now successfully we are able to store the data in our Redux login data. Now products data, let's try to understand. Let me close all this. Let's go to our pages. Under that we have products. Under that we have service. So from service we are calling dispatch. Dispatch will call reducer. So data will come here in the action. Now here I can write one condition. If my action dot type is equals to products, then what you want to do? So here inside this state, you will have the access of this object. In that case, I want to assign a new object to this state, and to this data property value should come from action dot payload. Payload. That's. Let's see whether our Redux is getting updated or not. I will just go back to home. Go to the inspect. Go back here. Okay, let me clear all this. Now, if I click on this products, see, suddenly my logger got triggered here. It means there is some change in my Redux. So initially how your store was, there was one object. In that you have two properties, login reducer, products reducer. Login reducer, whose value is logged in value true, and products reducer data is 20. Okay, let me refresh. The moment I refresh, initially it should be empty array. See here, products reducer data is empty array, and login by default we kept it true. Then we performed some action, that is products, and we are sending 20 product information. Now that 20 product information is exactly added in the products reducer data, and login reducer is still true on. It's still true on. Now what we have to do, in our products component, we have to access this data. This products reducer, this data we have to access. So how to access that data? Go to our products component. Here you have to import use selector, and you can just get that user selector hook here. Yeah. Now tell me guys, how to get that data? Who wants to tell the answer? Now tell me how to get the data of products from the Redux. What I have to do here with use selector. So already you know all these things, right? Once the data is stored in your Redux, how to get the data? This is the structure of Redux. I'm giving the structure of Redux also. I want this data. This data I want. So how to get this data?
Use selector, we pass one callback function. There we pass like as a product reducer dot data.
We pass one callback function, and let's assume that here we have access to store data. Now,
No, here we return
return statement,
store dot
store dot.
uh, product reducer and dot data.
So here we have to say store dot products. Okay, products reducer. Okay, check the keys, guys. Okay, sometimes we miss the keys, so always check the spells as well. If you do even one spell wrong, it will be issue. So here what I have taken exactly products reducer. So I have to take here products reducer dot data. Now it should return one array inside this products data. Now here I will check one condition. If can we check one condition? If products data dot length, if it is not equals to, or we can say if it is greater than 0. So what I want to do is I want to call this function only if my Redux data is empty. So products data dot length, if it is equals to 0, then only you call this function get all products, or else don't call in the use effect. So unnecessarily whenever component mounts, it will not send the request. Now here we got the data. Now what we have to do, that data, using that data, we have to create here cards. We have to show the data in the form of cards. So how to show the data in the form of cards? So for that, I will write here one condition, products data dot map. We'll take one callback function. Here we will add return statement. Now here we will create one card, div, and here I have to create one card. So I will just add here class name card, bootstrap card we can add. In that we can create card header. And we can have card body. In card header, you decide what you want to add. I'm just adding here image src. We are just adding some width and some height. Height 300. Width also I will add around 300. And here product. So we can get that product dot image. And let me just add here one h4 product dot title. Okay, just let's see whether we are getting at least image and name or not. So here we got that data. So here let me add some key props. Here I will say product dot ID I will say. See here we are getting the data. But all this data are displaying one after another. So I want one beside another. So for that we can add some CSS. So here we can select dot products and here display I will just say grid template columns, and here we can use repeat formula. We can say that repeat 3 1 FR. Here we got something like this. So right now what we are doing, we are displaying all the cards. Now you can decrease the size. Here I can give width as 150. If I give 150, it will be like this. Or maybe 180. Depending upon you, you can add it. Okay, right now we are just showing this data from the server. So now we got this data. Now what I want to do, if I select electronic, here I should have electronic data only. If I select men's wear data. If I select women's wear, it should show only women wear data. So right now we are just showing this data. You have to work on CSS part as well. Okay. Now here one more thing we can do. Now this code, yes, this code we can create in a separate component, that is product component. Instead of adding inside the products, we can add inside a product component, and that product component we can iterate multiple times. So now this is the code which we are using to create one card like this, one simple card like this, in which we are displaying the image, we are displaying the title of that particular product. So what we can do, we can move this code. We can move this code into separate component, like a product component. Right now we are in the products component. We can create one product component so that we can reuse that code multiple times based on our data. So what we can do is, inside this products, I can create one product.jsx file. Inside this, I can create one product component, and that code which is required to create one product, one card, that I can add here. I can add here. And this data, product ID, product image, product title, we can get using props. Here I can get ID, I can get here image, I can get here title. And here no need to use product, no need to use like this image, no need to use like this title. Now this component we can import in our products. Import product, and this product component I can render here. Now instead of writing this code here like this. We can remove this and we can render our product component. And we can pass here props, like we can pass title, we can pass image, and we can pass our ID. So product dot ID, product dot image, and here product dot title, product dot title. Now save it. Now if you go back here, now still you have the same result. Now see, you have the same result. So what we done, we made our products page little more simple. Little more simple we have made it by dividing our UI code into a different component. The product component we have created. Now this component is repeating multiple times based on our data. And to this component, we are passing the data dynamically here. Understood this part? Anyone have any confusion?
Yes. Okay. In the same
Way, what you guys can do, this radio button code also you can move into separate component. This radio button code also we can move into separate component. Okay, that part you take as an assignment. Now in products component, we wrote the code to show these radio buttons, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this we wrote in the products component only. So if you want this code, options code, you can move into separate component. This code you can move into separate component so that your component will look more simple and more neat and clean. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to divide our UI into different components as much as possible. So you can create a separate component in which you can have only the code of radio buttons. Only the code of radio buttons. And that radio button component and product component we are rendering in the products component. In product component, you have a code of creating the card. You have just a code of creating one simple card. Now here we have created the card. If you want here, we have given products. Here we have added some CSS. You can decrease the width if you want something like 1000 pixel. And here margin 30 pixel auto, I will say, so that it looks something like this. Pixel. So we got something like this. Here's some space we got. You can decrease this size. Here H4 we have taken, right? So here I can just add a class and I can say display 6. How it looks, let's see. So it looks something like this. But instead of H display 6, can we add here class H4? It looks like this. Then right now I'm just displaying only image and content. Image and content. You can take H6 also. And here class also I will give H6. Let's see how it looks. It looks like this now. Maybe H5 is okay. If I go back here, I got like this. So this I have created using grid right now. We can add a gap. We can add gap like 20 pixel. So we got some gap between our columns. So maybe we can increase the width to 1200 pixel. So something like this we got it. And image content, we can make it in the center as well. Text align center. And here, let me make it 1100 pixel. Like this, we got it. So right now, all the products we are displaying. Now, if I check this electronics, I want to call a function. I want to call a function, and from that function, I want to send a request to my server, and I just want to get only electronics products from my server and show that products in my component. If I select menswear, then I should send one request to my server, and it should show me only menswear clothing here. And in the same way, women's wear also. Let me add here one more link called jewelry. Okay, right now we are getting jewelry data also. So if you want, you can add that radio button also, jewelry radio button. So I will just copy this. I will add here one more radio button, that is jewelry. Jewelry. So if I go back here, we got one more here, jewelry. So by default, whenever our application loads, all is checked. We are showing all data. Now, if I check on electronics, it should show me only electronics data. If I check jewelry, it should show me only jewelry data. If I check menswear, it should show me only menswear data. So for this, we have APIs. So we can use those APIs. So if you go to this fake store API, go to docs, and here you have get in category data. So if I send the request to this particular API, it will give me only jewelry data. Like this, we have some APIs here. Okay. So I will add those APIs so that you will not have any kind of confusion in the APIs.text. For jewelry, if you want only jewelry data, then this is the API. If you want only electronics data, then this is the API. For that, you have to change this part to electronic. So that information we will get here. So if I just copy this, I will get only here electronics data. In the same way, men's. So I can copy this part. and I can paste here, and we have women's. We have men's and women's. This path parameter we have to change, and that path parameter details we will get here. So here men's clothing. This I have to replace here, and then I have women's clothing. I have to replace this here. That's it. These are the APIs we have. So if I select electronic, you have to send the request to this API. Get the data from server, update that data in our Redux store. And from Redux store, if you want, you can show the data. Or else you can manually write the code to filter the data. Because already we have the all data, so we can write the code to filter the data if you don't want to use API. If you want to use APIs, you can use APIs as well. Okay. So we can write manually code to filter the data, or else we can use APIs to change to get the data from our server. For example, here I have electronics. So whenever I select this, whenever on change event triggers here, I want to call one function like get electronics. I want to call a function called get electronics. Let's assume that we are defining that function inside our service. Here I want to define export const get electronics. Now here I have to write almost same logic. So I will just copy this. I will paste here. Here I have to just change the API. Instead of sending the request to this API, I have to send the request to this API. So I will copy this. I will paste here. So whenever get electronics is called, I am going to send one request to my server. From my server, data will come. That data again I will give to the dispatch. Dispatch will update that data in the Redux. And from Redux, I will fetch that data and I will show on my screen. I will show on my screen. Okay. Now here, what we have to do to this get electronics also, we require dispatch function. So we have to get this dispatch function here. And how to get the dispatch function? Again, the same process. So here we cannot pass dispatch directly here. So we can define one function here. In that, first we have to import get electronics and call that get electronics here. And to that get electronics, pass your dispatch. So let's see whether it works or not. Now, right now we are showing all the data, all the products data. Now, the moment I select electronics, so it's didn't work. Now see, we got electronics data. See, it's taking some time to get that data. Now we got only electronics data. So I want to show that loading part also, because it is taking some time to get the data. See, the moment I select, I'm not getting the data. It's taking some time to get the data. Now here, this thing will not work because here we have written some condition. Because of this condition, see, now we are not getting all products data. That also we have to rectify. That also we have to rectify now. So we have to check here multiple condition. Products data dot length. Products data dot length equals to 0. If it is equals to 0, then only we are sending the request to get all products. But already we have only electronics data in the Redux. That is the reason this condition is becoming false. And that's why this request is not going. So that part also we have to maintain now. We have to manage. So how to manage that part, that we will see in tomorrow's session. So right now the problem is in your Redux, initially whenever products component loads, you are storing all the products data. So in your Redux, you have all the products data. That's why you are showing here all the products data. Now whenever I click on electronic, you are sending the request to a server, getting the electronic data, and again storing in Redux in the same property. Now, if I click on this all, if I check this all, what we have to do? We have to call on change event on that all button. So here we have to call this on change event. And in this which function we have to call get all products data. That's it. Now if you go back here, now let me refresh. Here all products we are displaying. If I check electronics data, again if I check all, I got all products data. All products data we are displaying. If I check electronics, only electronics data. If I check jewelry, nothing. If I check men's wearing, nothing. Check women's wearing, nothing. So now we have to work on this part. So how to resolve this, we will see in tomorrow's session. And if you see one more thing, get electronics code and get all products code. It's almost same. Only in get electronics, this new part for your URL is adding. But here you don't have that part. That also, on that also, we can work. So now instead of creating like this multiple methods, everything we can manage here. Everything we can manage here. So how to manage everything here, that let's see in tomorrow's session. Instead of defining multiple methods, just define one method and manage all the things. Yeah, if you have any doubts, let me know, guys. If you don't have any doubts, yeah, you guys can drop and you can work on this part. You should know just flex and grid concept. If you know flex and grid concept, you will be able to build. So I have used their flex and grid concept only. Apart from that, nothing. Just try. If you are getting any issues, you can discuss.